Does buying rep sneakers disqualify you from being a sneakerhead? I'm not sure. If I want to watch anime and I don't want to go on Crunchyroll and pay $7 a month, but I see Kiss Anime is offering for free, does that disqualify me from being an anime fan because I watch all my stuff for free? That's really the question we're having to ask ourselves here today, guys. Does your money contribute to your liking of something? Do you automatically lose status because you're not spending more money or as much money as somebody else? What are the qualifications for being a sneakerhead? I really do wonder. In my opinion, it's just the ability to enjoy shoes. If somebody enjoys the art, they don't really have to spend money on the art in order to be considered a part of the quote unquote family, as you guys call it. A sneakerhead is simply somebody who enjoys sneakers, right? They enjoy the art, they enjoy the sport, they enjoy fashion, all those things. There are so many different types of sneakerheads. You got people that like Yeezys, Jordans, people that are interested because of the basketball, people that are only interested because of the rap and all the iconic moments associated with sneakers, all right? So really, it's just being a fan of culture. For a lot of people, their love of sneakers has nothing to do with the production value and the history behind the brands. It has something to do with the culture. Basketball is a big one. People love the stories of Michael Jordan and his come up story, or Kobe Bryant and his dedication to the game. Those stories and that inspiration, that flame that's inspired in a lot of people's hearts and souls are what drive them to purchase these sneakers and buy these sneakers, because by wearing them, they feel like they're one with the player or the icon in their head. There's a movie that came out a couple of years ago called Like Mike. Bro got a pair of shoes off a damn electric cord, bro. Put him on his feet, and he was balling like Jordan, bro. Many of you feel that same way when you put on your J's, bro, but you're not Lil Bow Wow. You can't rap, bro. Lil Bow Wow had the 2000s on lock, but that's a different topic for a different day. You don't have to spend your money on sneakers to become a sneakerhead, just like you don't have to go out and play football in order to be a football fan. It's all about what's in your heart, what's in your soul, right? A lot of what ties sneaker culture together and make it such a big commodity is people's desire to buy things that they can't have all the time, bro. What is the number one thing in sneaker culture, right? These dang raffles, these apps. Oh my God, if I can get a sneaker for retail, it's the thrill of the game, bro. We're pretty much in a lottery machine, bro. Constantly watches the slots, hoping to hit 777s, right? It's that thrill of the cop that really binds people, and that emotional drive is what creates this culture, right? It is impossible to get every sneaker that you want, no matter how rich you are, how much access you have to sneakers. There's always going to be something new. That's something my uncle told me, right? No matter what, man is always going to want more. They'll never be able to satiate their wants. We can satiate our needs, but we're not going to ever be able to satiate that appetite, right? And that's okay, bro. We're human. We're gluttonous, right? We're going to want things. We're going to always want. We're going to want more and more and more. That's what makes sneaker culture so hype, is the fact that we want things that cost $2,000, $20,000. That's your love, and your love is communicated through your money. I get it, right? Where you spend your money is what you support. So a lot of sneakerheads, they love the culture, they love the game. They don't mind paying $500 kicks because that's what makes them feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like when you put on a $500 Gucci suit, you feel good. Or you put on some Dior Sauvage, you feel good because that's where you spent your money at. And that's all good and dandy. Some people don't really get that same feeling from sneakers, right? There are people that go and buy Skechers, they're happy, they got $5 kicks on their shoes, right? It's all about what's in the mental and what's in your heart. So I say all that to say, a lot of people in the sneaker game, the biggest game is the desire to get something, right? To buy that sneaker, because everyone's experience in the sneaker game is subjective. My goals as a sneakerhead may not align with your goals as a sneakerhead. Some people just want to cop sneakers from when they were a kid, the things they couldn't afford because they grew up poor. That's what ties them into the hustle culture, right? Some people just like the fashion. They just want to get a couple of sneakers just to snap a fit together, you know what I'm saying? That's what supports their hype, their desire. Oftentimes in culture, we tend to, I guess, quote unquote, gatekeep. We create rules and boundaries in order to enter within a culture of people. In sneaker culture, the reason why a lot of people say if you buy reps, you're not a sneakerhead is because you're buying a fake item. You're buying something that's not authentic. And I'm not really trying to get in a moral debate about legal, illegal. That's up to the government and for the law to determine. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to do that. But I will say, to the point of them being fake, them being not real, that is a personal decision you make about the quality and the make of your shoes. Some people don't want to wear used sneakers. They only buy new sneakers. Am I a bad person simply because I don't want to spend money on used sneakers? Or what if I'm the type that I only buy used sneakers and I don't want to spend the extra penny? Does that disqualify me from being a sneakerhead? Why is it that this moral law separates you from loving something? Like, the question is now, can I do something illegal and still love and support the culture? You know, back in the day before Spotify, we would have to buy these things called CDs, right, in order to listen to music. Some people got CDs. Some people went out and went on iTunes. Many of us went on this website called LimeWire. You remember when Lil Wayne dropped No Ceilings and you would go on LimeWire to listen to the music? You weren't supporting Lil Wayne back then, buddy, but you were still enjoying his music, weren't you? So you can do something illegal and fraudulent and still enjoy the culture and the art just as much as somebody who spent money on it. It's just that they made a decision to support somebody and you decided that I'm not going to do that. Even in the resale game, when we buy sneakers for resale, we're not supporting the companies, we're supporting resellers, we're supporting everyday people just like you and I, or even bigger corporations like StockX and Go and eBay. But my point is, you can love something and you don't have to support it with your money. You could be a sneakerhead who only wears one pair of sneakers, never wears any other shoes in his life. You could still be a fan of the culture. You can buy rep. You could pay whatever price on whatever website and still enjoy sneakers. You could be somebody that doesn't wear used sneakers. You could be somebody that only buys sneakers for retail. You can do whatever you want and call yourself a sneakerhead. That is the beauty of the culture. It is big, it is wide. There are so many people out there that you wouldn't expect to be sneakerheads are sneakerheads. Nurses, doctors, teachers, so many people. And this common item makes so many relationships and holds so many people together. It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. So why create a barricade to entry in the sneaker game? If you're gonna wear reps, wear reps. Just don't sell them as real things. Just don't resell reps. That's the biggest thing you people have to understand, guys. If you're going to choose to wear reps, don't you dare try to sell them to somebody else and fool them into thinking that's a real thing, bro. That is wrong. But if you want to do that with your money, man, I'm not gonna get in that argument with you, man. Spend your money how you want to spend it, dog. That's your business. Just wear what you can afford, people. If you're working at McDonald's part-time, getting 7 hours a week, you don't need to be buying rep Travis Scotts. You don't even need to buying the real thing, honestly, bro. Make sure you wear things that kind of match your lifestyle, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't look believable, whether you buy the real thing or the fake, you're going to get a lot of questions, and I hope you're prepared to answer these questions. If you're not, have a great time. In the day and age of these apps failing to properly authenticate sneakers, can you really blame somebody who chooses to alienate themselves from the capitalistic market? What came first, the rep or the reseller? Everybody in the sneaker game knows that there's fakes out there. Fake sneakers used to be very taboo back in the days. You know, back in 2008, when Soulja Boy first popularized the Bape Cell, if your star has 6 points on it, it was not flying in this game, buddy. But now, there are cheat codes to this game, just like Grand Theft Auto. It's like the Spider-Man meme. Everyone's pointing their finger back at themselves. What is the real problem with sneaker culture? Is it the reps or the resellers? Let's look at the game for what it really is, guys. It's capitalism. People buy sneakers for retail, $150, right? Then they go and resell it for almost 10 times the price. Look at Travis Scott's, look at Foam Runners, hell, even Gallery Department, Asics. Honestly, nowadays, the sneaker game is more akin to a casino. You put your chips on the table, seeing if you're gonna get lucky tonight, and then you get hit with blackjack. 22, you bust. So, a lot of people in the sneaker game, they don't have the money to be buying every sneaker for $1,000. So what do now? They look towards reps. It's like the shiny, cheap option, bro. It's like the devil on your shoulder, but sometimes you gotta go rogue to get what you want. I can honestly agree with that sometimes, guys. I don't know. Something about this resale culture kind of confuses me as well, guys. I get it. What makes the game even worse nowadays is that some legit check apps get the game wrong too. Look at StockX, look at GOAT. Sometimes they're not perfect, and that's okay. You're paying for a service. Sometimes that service isn't correct. That's why you gotta rely on your knowledge as a sneakerhead. But our eyes can only show us so much, bro. Just like the Jedi said, bro, your eyes are your biggest deception, dog. You can't trust everything you see with your 2 eyes, even your hands, your touch. A lot of rep sneakers nowadays are honestly 1 for 1, dog. So there's really no point in committing to a legit check. If you're somebody that actually resells sneakers for a living, all kudos to you, dog. You actually care about a legit check. But the people that are buying reps, they're more concerned about their money and how they save it. They aren't really necessarily concerned with A+ quality material, and that's what reps are. They're just a cheaper option to a shoe. The main doctrine when it comes to reps is that you can't resell reps, which is what a lot of people end up doing because we can't really legit check our sneakers. So the real problem with the sneaker community nowadays is that the market is tainted. There are so many fake sneakers out on the market. The only way you know if a sneaker is legit is if it came from Nike themselves. Once it gets on the third-party market, there's no telling what's happening to that sneaker, how many times it's been swapped out. And I think that's what's caused a big eruption and the big debate recently about reps, because certain people have committed fraudulent activity with reps, returning fake sneakers as if they were the real thing. That to to me violates a very deep boundary because you're manipulating people's trust at the end of the day. You can do whatever you want with your money. You can buy whatever you want, call it the real thing, call it fake. It's all imaginary. These are man-made items. But the biggest thing you can't do is resell reps. Never do that. That is the biggest no-no when it comes to rep sneakers. So the question you really have to ask yourself is, would rep sneakers exist if there weren't resellers? The answer is duh. Obviously, no doubt. People don't get mad when you wear gold-plated jewelry. People don't get upset when people change their hair, get hair extensions, get wigs. But when you buy a rep sneaker, that's when you're violating a boundary. People don't resell wigs, yet there are alternate hairstyles out there. But do people ever buy all the wigs and then try to resell them? No, that's not a practice because there's a need for every single hairstyle. I'm coming to some sort of epiphany live on camera. Seeing things like the car game and the hair game, most people who can afford the product can get it. There always has to be some type of fake out there because at the end of the day, someone needs to get paid. These rep factories need to get paid. The resellers need to get paid. It's just about what's best for you. People always make up that excuse that if it weren't for resellers, I wouldn't buy reps. No, that's not true. Because if the reps were cheaper than Nike, you still buy reps. And the resellers, they're really not affected by the sell of reps as long as it's not taking out of their pockets. Because in actuality, the people who buy reps probably wouldn't pay resell if reps weren't an option anyway. The main message is, at the end of the day, do whatever is best for you. Stick to a moral code, stick to a financial goal. Just at the end of the day, my only doctrine: do not resell reps as real sneakers. Don't lie to people, man. The title says it all, ladies and gentlemen. I feel ashamed to own rep sneakers. Well, I actually don't. I have some conflictions about the whole rep sneaker debate, and I'm going to really unpack them here with you guys today. But let me just, before I dive into the topic of whether or not people should own rep sneakers, let me tell you a little bit of a backstory. The sneaker game is very confusing at times. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I have experienced some bad situations when it comes to purchasing legit sneakers that honestly have made me turn my back on the whole game sometimes. Everybody has this moral debate, this moral dilemma against replica sneakers. There's so many stories and theories behind whether or not they should be purchased, how it affects the sneaker community, the game, and whether or not you could be considered a real sneakerhead whether you own them or not. Now, my biggest gripe against the current sneaker market is how there are so many bad authenticators and how many reps circulate in the resale market to the point where it's honestly hard to trust the sneakers that you purchase unless they came from the direct seller like Nike or Adidas. You know, I started out buying sneakers off of StockX. That was like my main place to go, there and go, right? I remember a couple of years back, I bought this watch. It was a Dragon Ball Z G-Shock. I bought it from StockX and I accidentally ordered it twice. And I remember the customer service at StockX was so bad. They pretty much told me it was my fault. Don't do this again. If you do this again, we're not canceling the order. And I already had like weird suspicions with StockX customer service, right? Fast forward a couple of months later, a friend at the time bought me some red vermilion foam runners off of StockX. When I received them, the foam runners were peeling. They were very flaky. I questioned whether they were legit or not, but I just kept them because it was StockX. They never get things wrong. They always do it right. Ironically, months later, Nike sues StockX for passing a lot of fakes. And honestly, that scares me. You know what I mean? Not really scares me, but it just makes me very wary of how to purchase sneakers and where to buy them from and who do I trust? Should I just get the fake thing? Should I just go directly to the source of the confusion and the chaos? You know what I'm saying? Because it is so hard to be in the sneaker game and trust what you're purchasing. And I know a lot of people are going to say, try a different app, try something different, go buy things that aren't in high demand. You know what I'm saying? Like, and those are very valid arguments. I do understand that. The way I look at it is just like, dang, man, how does an app that has been around since 2016 get things wrong? And they're still out here constantly failing to authenticate sneakers over and over and over again. Time and time again, you constantly hear something about StockX, and it makes me question other apps like GOAT and sometimes even eBay. You never know. You know what I mean? Reps have gone so one-to-one. It's so hard with our eyes to really tell what's real and what's fake. By no means is this video here to advocate the purchase of replica sneakers. I really believe that at the end of the day, you should do whatever is best for you with your money. And sometimes, like, I question whether or not I should be a sneakerhead because I've been sold reps unknowingly. And it's like, dang, man, like, now here I am years later, like, questioning a lot of the sneaker sneakers I purchased, and it's like, should I stop wearing them because they're fake? I bought them under the impression that they're authentic. And then you get to this point where it's like, man, I've been deceived so many times. Well, let me go ahead and just cut out the deception and just do what's best for me. And that's where a lot of people eventually get to. And you know, the other thing too is like, I'm not saying that everyone should go out here and purchase these. By no means am I advertising that, but it's just like sneakers eventually fall apart. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I were to spend thousands, hundreds of dollars on the real thing, like they're going to degrade over time, regardless of how much I spent on them. And on top of that too, my other thing is, it's just like, okay, if you go out and spend money on the legit thing, you're gonna get called out anyway. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people really get stuck in this fork in this road and this crossroads. But there are also a lot of arguments against reps that are very valid as well. Like, you're stealing from the creator. You know what I'm saying? Like, people go out here and they make these shoes and you're buying a fake item and you're taking money out of their pocket. That's what a lot of people argue. Now, there are nuances to that argument, you know what I'm saying? Because once things get on the resale market, the person who created it gets no benefit from it. But I do understand what they're saying. It's like, what is the solution? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we fix things in the sneaker game to where so people can get what they want for an affordable price and not also have to buy replica sneakers? In my last video, I did say if resellers weren't a thing, a lot of people would still buy reps because people are going to gravitate towards the cheapest option in this world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that you should just buy what you can afford, get what you can afford, right? And although that argument is true, like, I'm the type of person, I thrift, I go to thrift stores all the time. Most of my clothes come from Ross, Marshalls, or my local thrift store, the Salvation Army. So for some reason, when it comes to sneakers, it's like, there are a lot of cool stuff out there. There's Skechers. I like Skechers. I think Fila's doing a lot of great things. It's just a very confusing place to be in the sneaker game. You know, sometimes you carry guilt for owning things, even though, yes, I was sold sneakers, like fake sneakers, under a false impression. You know, it's just hard to get rid of the distrust that currently exists in the community. And I guess I'm publicly getting on camera and saying, like, sometimes I'm confused. I'm generally confused, and I'm not really sure how to feel sometimes, to be honest with y'all. My trust has been broken so many times. I'm going to be real with y'all. Every day on the news, sneaker news, you hear more and more about how people are just getting it wrong. And I think instead of attacking replica sneakers and saying that reps are the problem, we really have to look at the authenticators and the people knowingly reselling reps as the real thing. I've never gone on camera and said that it's okay to do that. I really feel like if you're out here and you're reselling reps as real sneakers, you're really a part of the root problem with the culture, because there's so much distrust, right? Unless you build personal connections with other boutiques and sneaker outlets, you're really not gonna have that leverage of trust. And I don't know what the honest solution is, because if you trust somebody and they're not getting their sneakers directly from Nike, it's like, what's the pipeline? What's the trust? I don't even get in that whole argument of they come from the same factory or it's the same thing, because we don't know that at the end of the day. All we know is where we bought the sneaker from, right? And can I trust who I got it from? Unfortunately, with all the news out there that talks about how a lot of apps just continually get it wrong, or there's so many Reddit stories of people who bought a sneaker off of one app, resold it on another app, and it doesn't pass on this app. It's like, dang, man, what do I do? Where are the rules of being a sneakerhead at the end of the day? Like, where's the commandments? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, anybody could just come into the game, right? Buy a bunch of sneakers off of XYZ website, resell them to you, and a lot of people don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot of skill and knowledge in order to be somebody who has completely authentic shoes. And I see all the time, like, great people, great men and women who have awesome collections, and I truly believe that their sneakers are authentic, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, dang, man, the amount of work, dedication, effort, knowledge, trust that went into that collection, you know, I'm envious sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real. You know, so at the end of the day, you really do have to just follow your own moral code and do what's best for you. I'm always gonna say on FitsByFree, free the culture, never buy reps and try to resell them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but outside of that, what you do with your money is your business. And, you know, I look at the situation with certain YouTubers. I'm not trying to put people out, but I'm just gonna speak candidly. I think the reason why Nike started to sue certain people is because they tried to return reps as the real thing, which is very wrong in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You're committing fraud, because even if it were two real Nike shoes, right? If they weren't the same Nike shoes that you purchased from that same Nike store and you return them, that is fraud, bro. I don't care if they're reps or the real thing. If it's not the same sneaker you purchase and you're going to return it, that's like me taking a PlayStation 5. I know I got a broken one at home. I'm just going to go ahead and switch out the PlayStation 5s and return it to the store. Like, dog, that's messed up because someone's going to eventually buy that same PlayStation that's broken and they're not going to know what's up, which kind of effectively makes the whole rep sneaker problem to begin with, man. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna get some comments like, yo, you're fake, blase blase, you're this, you're that, and I get it. I can take it. I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? Like I know what I'm saying at the end of the day. Like I buy what's cheapest, you know what I'm saying? Like I truly do believe all the sneakers I buy are real, you know what I'm saying? Like they may not have the Nike stamp of approval, but guess what? Most of the sneakers that you buy on the third party market don't have that Nike stamp of approval, right? So argue if you will. I'm okay with that. I'm open to debate. All I'm asking, this is a call to action. Can we return the trust to the sneaker game? How can we come together as a community? I need the people who buy reps to come together. I need the people who could resell sneakers to come together. Collectors. I need the people who are OGs in this game, the people who have been doing this for years. We have to come together and come up with some type of solution. There has to be some type of rule book on all of this because at the end of the day, I think there's so many factions within the sneaker game that people never really come together. Right? You got the people who buy reps pointing at the people who resell. You got the people who've been OG collectors pointing at the Gen Z generation, blaming them for all this and how they're all hype beasts. And it's just a whole like Spider-Man meme of like people pointing at each other. But until the day we come together and just like straight up hold hands and find a solution to the problem, we're all going to be in our own little jaded islands. But at the end of the day, we are all people who enjoy sneakers, who enjoy the culture, and who are trying to advance things, no matter what. I don't care if you collect Skechers. I don't care if you have every authentic Travis Scott. I don't care what you do, but at the end of the day, we have to figure out how to fix this, guys. And I'm going to be the guy I get on camera and just say straight up, like, the sneaker game is flawed right now. The sneaker game is truly flawed right now. And I think the biggest problem, in my opinion, is people reselling replica sneakers. If you're selling reps and calling them the real thing, you're a part of the problem. And until we get a better authentication system or some type of system that allows people to just get straight up all their sneakers from the sneakers app, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what needs to be done. You know what I mean? Should sneakers have serial numbers? I mean, should there be some type of website on Nike where you can take the number and type it in and see if it's legit? If that exists, let me know. I have not heard of that. I haven't heard of that at all. But even then, the numbers can still be faked. Even then, things can be deceived and tricked into being something that it's not. So I don't know, guys. I come to you humbly. I come to you confused. I come to you seeking answers. I come to you asking for guidance as well. I'll be honest with y'all. I've never been the type of person to tell people what to do and how to live their life. You know what I mean? I've always been an advocate of do whatever is best for you as long as you're not harming someone else. And I still stand on that still of do what's best for you. Just don't affect the livelihood of other people. But this is a call to action. We do have to find some type of solution. How can we restore the trust in the sneaker community? I leave you with that. I'm FitsByFree for the culture. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. What does it take to be a sneakerhead? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Most of us just assume since we collect sneakers, we're automatically in the game. We're in the top of the ranking, the general of the army. We're all sneakerheads, right? But honestly, sometimes I ask myself, like, what is the deeper meaning to being a sneakerhead? Because there's actually a lot of contrivances with being a sneakerhead, and there's a lot of exceptions to the rule. People often say if you collect reps, you can't be a sneakerhead, or if you don't collect Jordans, or if you don't like these certain shoes, you can't be a sneakerhead. And I'm just really trying to break down the meaning of what it means to be a sneakerhead. In very simple terms, I think we can all agree. A sneakerhead is somebody that loves to collect sneakers. So is everybody a sneakerhead? Like your mom had a bunch of shoes in her closet. Does that make her a sneakerhead? Where do we draw the line here? You know, I think the differentiation when it comes to a lot of these exceptions to being accepted in the sneaker culture, you have people that fall into one of two categories. You're either a sneakerhead or a sneaker lover. And it's crazy because I question sometimes, in order to be a sneakerhead, do you have to love every sneaker? But what if you don't know a lot about sneakers? Does that stop you from hitting that upper echelon to being a sneakerhead and you're just a sneaker lover? What if you're just a casual consumer of culture? That is a really deep question. So I've actually broken it down into 3 different variables, 3 different domains of being a sneakerhead slash sneaker lover. And your feelings about each of these topics really separates you. It's like a spectrum. You either fall into one category or another. The first thing I really want to look at is the most obvious aspect of being a sneakerhead, and that's collecting sneakers, all right, guys? So what are the must-haves when it comes to a sneaker collection? What forbade somebody from being a sneakerhead if they don't own certain sneakers? A lot of people associate owning Nikes and Jordans with being a sneakerhead, but believe it or not, when I actually got into the sneaker game, the only thing I collected were Yeezys. Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know I was the Yeezy guy back in the day. I collected Yeezy 350s, Yeezy foam runners, Yeezy 700s. All my collection was Yeezys, and it was like that for a while. What actually broke my love for Yeezys, I would say, but not really broke my love, but what forced me to get out of my comfort zone and look towards other models was when Adidas and Ye separated and parted ways. I had to look at other options. I had to think about, wow, what else can I do to fulfill my love for sneakers? I always had my eyes on Jordans for a while, but honestly, when I was growing up, I couldn't afford Jordans. So I really gravitated towards like Adidas, Converse, Vans. It wasn't until I got older and when I was able to afford to buy my own Jordans is when I started buying Jordans. I got into Jordan 1 lows, I got into Jordan 4s, I like Jordan 3s a lot, but my point still stands. What does it take? What are the must-have sneakers in the sneakerhead collection? Like everybody thinks everybody owns Air Forces, but I actually don't own a single pair of Air Forces. Does that stop me from being a sneakerhead? I wonder, what is the requirement? And then 2, what if you only collect Skechers? Like Skechers have no hype whatsoever. Or what if you only collect Filas? Do I have to own hype sneakers from hype popular brands in order to be considered a sneakerhead? Am I allowed to participate in the conversation if my whole collection is Fila disruptors, or if I think Skechers are the best sneaker ever? Am I allowed to participate in the sneakerhead conversation, or am I just somebody who loves Skechers? And with me saying that, that brings me to my next point too of like, what if somebody owns Reps? I've made a video about this in the past. Can you own Rep sneakers and still be considered a sneakerhead? I talked about that more in that video. If you're interested, go check it out. I wonder too, like if somebody just goes around and they collect Reps, right? They don't want to pay resale. They're not the type of person to participate in that. Does that stop them from being a sneakerhead? Because they could still love the sneakers. They could still appreciate the sneakers, but they just didn't go through the same work that somebody else went through. So is there an effort requirement with being a sneakerhead? Are there certain trials and tribulations to obtaining this title? Is it like joining a fraternity, bro? Do I have to get hazed and brazed just to be a part of this upper echelon, the highest level of the community? In order for me to wear the letters of being a sneakerhead, I have to do all sorts of activities and then I could be indoctrinated in the culture. No, obviously not. There are plenty of people that call themselves sneakerheads that one person, their dad just handed them some sneakers, the other people waiting in line. Like there's certain experiences nowadays that younger sneakerheads will never have to go through. I know a lot of the OGs on my channel probably remember waiting in lines to collect sneakers. Nowadays, people don't relate to that. Nowadays, it's the sneakers app. It was me getting lucky on the sneakers app. That's what's going to determine whether I felt that same effort level or not, or having to wait in the Foot Locker queue. For some people in the future, it may be completely different because the game is always changing and evolving. So the requirements are also changing and evolving. And that segues me to my next point. Like, do I have to be a scholar of sneakers in order to call myself a sneakerhead, right? Now, there's some people who know what shoe Michael Jordan was wearing and what game, who was playing against, who was on his team. I admittedly know nothing about sneakers. I don't care for sports. The only sport that I really would watch is like mixed martial arts, but we all know there's no fashion in fighting, guys. It's just throwing these hands, and if they're kicking something, it's with the kicks on their leg, bro, not with the kicks on their feet. I know that was a shameless transition, but who cares? It's FitsByFree. I be yapping. I'm the D1 yapper and the D1 hater. Do your homework. But, you know, do I have to have a solid history? Do I have to have a solid knowledge base of like every sporting event and everything like that? Like, you know, back in the day before I think Kanye really broke the mold, a lot of the sneakers and collaborators were athletes, and a lot of people bought sneakers because of athletes. Like, you can look at Reeboks. Reeboks has a ton of hype players around them. You got Allen Iverson, the Shaq, they had Kobe at one time. people gravitated towards these brands because of the celebrities associated with these brands, right? Now, a lot of people could say that about Yeezys too, but the reason why I got into Yeezys was because of the music, because of Kanye's West influence. And you can even look at Travis Scott's that are very popular amongst new generations. A lot of people gravitated towards those because of Travis Scott and his influence and how he's impacted the game, how he's impacted music, how he's impacted fashion. Now, a lot of the OG sneakerheads may not be too familiar with Travis Scott's music, but they might collect his sneakers because they know they have some hype value to them, you know what I'm saying? And like, what if I'm not the type of person who understands how to resell sneakers and the value of a certain sneaker on the market? What if I don't know how to do a flip? What if I don't know the ins and outs of a sneaker convention? Or what if I don't know the lingo? What if I don't know what dead stock is, or VDNS, or OGR? What if I don't understand what these terms mean? And I'm just somebody who likes a sneaker. I might watch a couple of sports. I might be super into basketball. What does it take? And what if I'm the type of person, I have no clue how to care for my sneakers? What if I just, you know, keep them in boxes? What if I throw the box out? Does that stop me from being a sneakerhead? What if I don't know how to clean my sneakers? What if I don't wash my sneakers every 3 days? Does that stop me from being a sneakerhead? So we also have to look at like the knowledge base behind this, right? Why is there a barrier to entry when it comes to sneakers? I really feel like with a lot of other fan bases, there isn't like a football head and just a generic football head. Like, people just like to watch sports and they bond over that love for sports. But I oftentimes notice in the sneaker game, we have such a divisive gatekeep culture. Like, if you do X, Y, and Z, I can't mess with you. You're forbidden from sitting at the table. Are we really acting like Mean Girls now? Lindsay Lohan? I don't think I watched Mean Girls in its entirety, bro. Do I lose my white girl card? Possibly. And the last thing I want to get into is how they value their sneakers. And this is the most subjective of the three, right? Because like I said earlier, like, there's an effort level that is associated with anything. Like, when you buy sneakers, whether you're buying reps, whether you're buying used, whether you're getting retail, everybody has their own way of like obtaining sneakers, right? And is it time? Is it money? What is really the thing behind it? Because a lot of people who say like, oh my God, you buy reps, you're not a sneakerhead, they oftentimes associate that with somebody who's lazy, poor, trying to be fake, like just following the trends. So is it independent thought that determines this stuff? Is it the time that you put into getting a sneaker? Do I need to be waiting in lines, like I said earlier? Do I need to be constantly researching and finding new stuff and just buying whatever I like from Ross or any store? Like, what is it, guys? I don't understand it. Like, yes, effort is important, value is important, but what if I'm just somebody who likes to wear shoes? Does that separate me from somebody who really values them, puts them in clear cases, you know, really loves and worships the sneakers? There are some people who won't even wear their sneakers outside because they value them that much. What is it? Where do you find yourself on that spectrum? You know what I mean? And it's hard to say, because in some ways, like, I do feel like it is prerequisite, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you say you're a sneakerhead, I automatically assume you're somebody that loves sneakers, but there are also a lot of sneakerheads who have very vehement opinions about certain sneakers, you know? For example, with Yeezys or Mischief Boost, those are very polarizing sneakers. You're either gonna feel one way or the other, right? Now, some people have a lot of hate towards a lot of sneakers. I mean, my whole channel sometimes is predicated on hate because it's a personality I play into, but you get what I'm trying to say, people. Like, how much room is there for hate in the sneaker culture? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people say they're sneakerheads, and if you say something bad about sneakers, like, dude, how are you gonna hate? How are you gonna sit here and hate? Blase, blase, all you do is hate on sneakers, yada, yada, yada. But do I have to love everything in order to be a sneakerhead? Am I allowed to dislike stuff and still call myself a sneakerhead? You know, and then what if you're just a sneaker hater like myself? Raise your hand if you're a sneaker hater. You know what I'm saying? Does that stop me from being a sneakerhead? Because I could be very knowledgeable about sneakers. I could collect sneakers and I could value sneakers and still hate most of them. Does that stop me from being a sneakerhead? You know what I mean? Like, the people and the sports analysts, like, I think about like Skip Bayless sometimes. He's very critical of sports games and whatnot. He's very knowledgeable. He can still be a fan of the sport and still critique it in a way. You know what I'm saying? So ask y'all, like, where is it? And then there's the exact opposite of that too. What if I just love everything that everybody else loves and I'm a hype beast? I literally just follow the trends. I just do whatever StockX tells me to do. I look at the value, I look at the recent sales. I'm just following complex sneakers to a T and just doing what I'm being told. You know what I'm saying? does that also stop you from being a sneakerhead? If you don't have original thoughts and opinions and you just love whatever needs to be loved, does that stop you from being a sneakerhead? These are all questions that y'all just gotta answer for yourselves, honestly. And do you identify as a sneakerhead or a sneaker lover? Or maybe you're a sneaker hater, or maybe you don't care for the labels and you're just the D1 hater. But there's only one D1 hater, that's me, guys. I'm just kidding. If you wanna be a D1 hater, you can do it too, guys. It's not that hard to hate, because honestly, let's be real, hate is a purest form of love, bro, because if you hate something, you gotta love it in order to study it and hate it. So really think about that and unpack that. But those are just some things that I want y'all to ponder on and just talk to me about. What do you think? Do you think there's a difference between being a sneakerhead and a sneaker lover? What makes you a sneakerhead? What are the requirements in order to be a sneakerhead?